Let's do it. Come on, everybody. Barefoot. Is it that kind of day? Is it a barefoot kind of day? Steve, put on your shoes. All right, let's go. On your own schedule today, aren't you? Yeah, I'm going barefoot. Why not? T-Rex, you gonna put on shoes? Nah, just go for it. And he takes it right. Steve, come on. 62 degrees. It says sun and a few raindrops. That sounds kind of logical at 9:30 on the 11th day of the 11th month. And it's Veterans Day. And learning a little bit more about 11/11. I've been spending a lot of time researching this morning, multiple things. There goes a barge. We saw that one go by a couple times yesterday. Heading off towards the east with the sky above, the instability cumulus clouds. Now, technically, these are cold air advection clouds, the lower ones indicating instability at low levels of the atmosphere, as colder air gradually comes in aloft. But beneath them, it is fairly warm. The temperature in the mid-60s today, maybe 70. The record for Boston today is 73, set just 4 years ago in 2020. So I've been learning a lot. The viewers who help me, you make me curious. I make myself curious. And I always thought that Veterans Day was sort of a celebration of the end, or an acknowledgement of the end of World War I, Armistice Day. Peace trying to be declared at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. But you research it, and it really didn't end the war. And then there was another one. So it's to honor the veterans that are serving, or have served, excuse me, and are serving on this day. And the weather on this day looks like it's going to be variable. We have a very fronty map, which is kind of fitting. Front is a boundary, and wars are often fought over boundaries. And in the weather, we often call them battle zones, when you have a front that divides this warm air advection at the lower levels of the atmosphere. This morning, temperatures are going up. But at high levels of the atmosphere, the temperature is going down. That's differential advection, and all these fronts are little boundaries. Have triple play warm fronts south of triple play cold fronts here in the northeast, with two powerful low pressure systems that would be sub 999 millibars. One that went by last night with a warm front. That's the remnant of the system that was that historic snowfall in New Mexico and Colorado. But the problem is here, it accelerated and moved so fast last night. It only had a few hours of rain. How much rain did you get at your house? I look to the Coco Raz, and I see that over the North Shore, north of Boston, where those fires have been burning there in Lynn, so many fires burning so many places, but the ones that I could see, we picked up a quarter of an inch of rain. So a little bit of a fire extinguisher. It looks like the southeastern Connecticut and southern Rhode Island picked up more than a quarter of an inch of rain. Cape Cod got about 2/10. Parts of northern New England, hardly any rain at all. And here in North Weymouth, look at this, 0.09. So I picked up the low end of this rainfall lottery. And look what's in there. See that? Those things in there? Those are seeds. Those are seeds from the Japanese knotweed, this invasive plant here. So you can see those seeds? Don't they look familiar? Right in there. So last thing we want is more Japanese knotweed, but we'll empty it out. And who knows when we're going to get another drop of rain in here. It's really not in the forecast, maybe about Friday or so. So it's going to get very windy again. There's my compost pile looking good. I did a lot of work on this yesterday. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Let's do the weather. So we have dual cold fronts coming through, and each one's going to come with a round of clouds and wind. Here's the 5-day for Boston. See the temperature today, mid-60s, and usually on the warm side of these fronts, it means we're going to be close to 70, shy of the record. So it's the first time we've had a front coming in on the backside of a system without record warm in the forecast. As a matter of fact, look at the temperature go down. Tomorrow we're only around 50, and then we're only in the 40s on Wednesday and Thursday with nighttime lows near freezing. And I have a feeling Boston will get the first 32. Not sure about Logan Airport, but It's highly likely the first freeze, but the bad news here is all that wind tomorrow gusting past 40 miles an hour, and the dew point going down into the teens and 20s. So renewed high fire danger. That little bit of water that fell yesterday is going to evaporate very quickly with that wind tomorrow, and then we're going to be bone dry until Friday. Look at that, some raindrops on Friday. Well, what happened to that big Thursday front? We've been talking about this for quite some time. How it's going to be an enigma. We're not going to know what's going to happen until it happens. And right now my audio may be changing because my animals always manage, I got to find a better system, right? To tangle themselves up. And I go back and forth between using those wireless lavalier where you only hear one ear or the other, and it's been very dysfunctional. And this, what I use today, is the iPhone, which has several different microphones, and that's why the levels go up and down. And if anybody wants to help, I will put you on the clock and give you money if you can help me figure out how to fix these audio dilemmas I have. Oh, time out. Is that a chickadee? We had requests this summer for more chickadee video. Can you see it? Is it there? I can't see over the burning bush. The leaves are coming off the burning bush. The sun just came out. How pretty is this? So these dual lows go into our north. When lows go to your north, you're on the warm side. But then when they push the cold front down, you get through into the cold side. And let's look at the satellite imagery here. Breaks of sunshine here over the northeast. And looks like I have some of the most sun of anybody. And then the next front's coming in through Ontario. That's going to press a heavier cloud down through here. There's going to be some upslope snow. And if we look at the really wide views, why don't we look at this? The decaying Tropical Storm Rafael ending up right in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. So the Euro wins on that forecast. And then there are a couple more blobs there. Another blob that we were watching north of Puerto Rico that's near the Bahamas. That's going to play a role in something that happens offshore here. And then you see over just south of Hispaniola, there's a really potent looking system right there. And wait till you see the forecast for what that's supposed to evolve into, according to the Euro from last night. So lots of things to watch, lots of moving parts, and lots of questions. The only certain thing about this weather forecast is it's going to change. The only certain thing about the weather is it's going to be very windy this week. So let's go to the HRRR and see if we can't find any snow for our resorts as the cold front comes in tonight. Here is the HRRR with the bagginess and the isobars, so not quite as windy today as it's been, but then the isobars are coming together. There's some green there, that's rain, changing to snow only briefly. Places like Mount Mansfield, Jay Peak may get a coating of snow, and the temperature's going to drop, and it's going to be a lot of black lines tomorrow, and the blue lines. That's a surface wind, isobars, tightening up the pressure gradient, and the blue lines are cold enough for snow, but that just means that we can turn the snow guns on. There's no precipitation in the forecast tomorrow. The sun's going to come out with a few instability clouds. The wind is going to be gusting 35 to 45 miles per hour. The clouds that we do have are going to be whipping, but it looks like hardly any moisture. Look at the blue. All right, done with that. That's done. Hardly any moisture. I was going to say, look at the blue line. I'm thinking to myself, the dew point, how dry it's going to be. All right, so now let's go to the Euro. We do this all the time. It's from Pivotal Weather, and it shows the big picture synoptic scale with this high pressure system coming in tomorrow, and it's getting stronger. Note it's climbing from 1030 over the Great Lakes. A lot of black lines here, isobars. Then the high is going up to 1032. And the high is going north of us tomorrow night and Wednesday morning, probably the coldest morning of the season for many of us. And then that high goes to 1040, and it's strengthening, and it's just edging off the map to our north Wednesday night and Thursday. And as we've done every day now for about 5 days, we're stopping it on Thursday. Thursdays have been the most interesting day. And there's a 1010 millibar low back up near the Great Lakes, very weak. Note the 540 line is nowhere to be seen. It's way up there near Hudson Bay, Canada. That's the cold enough for snow line. And you have a new 1010 low forming down near Georgia. And this just came on the map yesterday as a possibility that we're going to have a strong storm off the southeastern United States on Thursday night and Friday. And I really can't believe how this has changed from a possible blizzard over Lake Superior to now a nor'easter type storm going off South Carolina. So let's put it back into motion. And there is the low decaying over Pennsylvania and Ohio, transferring its energy to off of Georgia. And now on Thursday night, we are dry, and then on Friday we have a storm going east off South Carolina, and look at this over New England. Weather backing in, a lot of isobars with a mixture of rain and snow backing in from Maine to New Hampshire and Vermont. It would be only the highest elevations to get some snow, and it gets very windy with a backing storm in the Atlantic Ocean. We saw this pop up about 2 days ago, and it makes sense with the buckling and the North Atlantic Oscillation going negative, and an offshore storm is going to form, and there'll be multiple low pressure centers wobbling around. And if we take it all the way out through next Monday into Tuesday and stop it on day 10, which I think is next Tuesday night, Wednesday, and we freeze it there, and we see a lot of black lines, and that means very windy from the north here. We're going to have several days in a row of northerly wind. I think that's probably a safe part of the forecast, as you can't really see it, but there's a 1043 high pressure system over Hudson Bay, and way out over the ocean there's a 976 low pressure system. You can't see that, you can just see the pressure gradient. And then you can see over Colorado, there's another potential blizzard in there in eastern Colorado with a 1010 or 1001 millibar low pressure system with heavy snow in the mountains of Colorado again, and maybe into Nebraska. And then look at this over Key West, Florida, a 966 low. You know what that is, right? That is potentially tropical storm or hurricane Sarah that all of a sudden the Euro last night decided to generate coming out of the Caribbean between the Yucatan Peninsula and Cuba and then near South Florida in 10 days. Wow. We'll see about that, won't we? We'll be watching that. And that wouldn't be a threat for us, and that's a spectacle, and that's brand new, so that's an outlier. So the odds of that really happening are fairly low. The odds of any of these exact storms is fairly low for any of this time. I want to show you the really wide picture from the Euro because it really kind of shows you what's going on over the Atlantic Ocean there. East of Newfoundland is a 976 low. That's a powerhouse massive storm responsible for our wind. As the wind picks up here and the leaves start blowing, what do you think? Oh, I was showing a map, Steve. Sorry, I got sidetracked by that wind. And all right, let's go back to that. And there's the 966 low over Key West. So if you go from 1043 high in Canada to 966 low in Florida, that's a 77 millibar pressure gradient. And it's very windy around here from the north, but nowhere near cold enough for snow. So even though we are in a new and improved pattern, like I said a couple of days ago, as far as making snow at the ski resorts, there's no more storms forecast for us, just some intermittent, mostly light precipitation mixed here on Thursday and Friday. And into the weekend, it would dry out again, stay windy and fairly cold, but not a hard freeze. So who knows? If I don't get a hard freeze by Thursday morning, I may still have things blooming and budding in my garden all the way into Thanksgiving. The weather segment is done. Come back tomorrow for more weather. Stick around right now for and more, and perhaps we can put you to some sleep. I'm marketing my videos as a sleep aid. There goes Steve chasing some of the leaves. So pretty. So yesterday, it was a very lazy day. I have this statement I use a lot. It's called, was gonna go to the snow show there in Hanover, but instead made a great brunch, had a Bloody Mary, and it featured in the brunch was some of the vegetables from the garden, some tomatoes, some dill, some basil, tomatoes, and cream cheese on a bagel. And so you know what does this, right? I actually caught it in the act. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I was watching the football, right? And to see Gronk jump out of a helicopter, celebration of the Marines and all of the veterans. Marines had their birthday anniversary. I think it was 243 years ago. The Marines were formed. And Gronk was out there with the Navy, jumping out of helicopters in a wetsuit and teaming up with the team there and celebrating Veterans Day. I'm not sure what port they were at. And then seeing Brady and Gronk on the TV screen together, just having fun post-football career. That was really fun. And the Patriots actually winning a game. That's so unusual. I can't really lift any of that because I'll get copyright. They'll actually take my video. They'll they'll say you can't even use your video if I use content from there. So I can just show a couple of scenes from that. So it was a football day, and then I did come out here after the football game, and I did a lot of work in the compost pile. And believe it or not, right in there, there are barrels and barrels of leaves. I made a compost lasagna. I took all the dirt out, moved it over here, and then I put in a layer of leaves, then a little dirt, then a layer of leaf, then a little dirt. And so now that is going to be a microbial heaven of bacteria and water working together to eat the leaves, decompose the leaves, and generate heat. So this is actually a heater now in my garden. And so I'm going to get a thermometer for the soil. I'm going to put it in there and see if we can't get the temperature of this to go up as the winter chill comes in. I'm going to take more of that and put it over here. So it's a really intense compost pile. Oh yes, and back to the pumpkin. So you see, your pumpkin has these marks in them, right? And what's making these marks? Well, we caught the squirrel in the act of eating the pumpkin yesterday. And that was so fun. I saw it through 2 sliders, and then I tried to sneak up on it. And he took off, but I saw what he was doing. He was both eating the guts, and I researched this online too. The squirrels like to eat the guts of the pumpkin. It's flavorful, it's got water, and then they sort of shell the seed. They take the seed and crack it open because this is a shell of a seed, and if we open it, can I do that now with my mouth? Inside the shell, that's where the real pumpkin seed is, and I didn't get that. Targenton. So you know you can make pumpkin seeds in your oven, and I'm having a tough time. I'm not a squirrel, but they were really good at it. So you can either dry these out and get the real seed, which is inside of the shell, or you can just kind of salt them and bake them and eat them as crispy snacks. So I think I might make some pumpkin seed snacks here on our Veterans Day afternoon. And I can't remember what else I wanted to talk about. So that's about it for today. These are called cold air advection clouds. There's the warm air advection cloud right up there, that mid-level and higher level cloud. So we have both warm air advection near the ground, cold air advection aloft, and it should be a really fun time lapse. A lot of wind this week, and we'll be here every day calling the play-by-play. All right, talk to you tomorrow. It's only 9:30, and I haven't even finished editing the Sunday out the door, and I'm ready to start the Monday and more with that smoke over Lynn, Boston, and RTC 107 barge being pushed along here through the Fore River, moving really gracefully, swiftly. Great guidance. 11:30, still seeing that smoke plume way up there. Workboat coming in. There's the fire, Lynn. Planes landing towards the west at Logan Airport. We get another barge being pushed along in the Fore River, inbound this time. And cirrocumulus clouds. Cirrocumulus are the highest possible puffy clouds. Those ones are alto. Those ones are cirro, just a little bit higher. Usually on the edge of a major weather system, sometimes hundreds of miles, sometimes 1,000 miles. And this is the edge of that system that was historic early season snow in Colorado, along with a touch of moisture coming from north of the Bahamas. Calling the play-by-play on our Sunday weather, and all week long, a really challenging forecast. Obstructed view seating. Patriots at the Bears, up 3-0. Well. Patriots get a W. What do we get going on here at 4 o'clock, 57 degrees, and Accurate says there's a thunderstorm coming. It says that all the time. Apparently it does know when there are fronts coming, but it's a nice wall of water coming across New York. Looks like a fire extinguisher on the radar. However, maybe running out of suppressant as it comes to New England. Beautiful sky here, not far before sunset. And I've been watching that fire to our north. Can't really see the smoke right now. And definitely it sparked up when the wind picked up this morning. Maybe they got a handle on it this afternoon. Oh, check it out. I was wondering what was going through that pumpkin. He can't see me because I'm looking through 2 doors. He's been working on opening that pumpkin for more than a week. Or he and his team. Congratulations, you made it. Having a feast. Pumpkin feast. I don't know whether he's eating the mushy stuff or the seeds or both. Let's see what happens if I try and sneak up on him. I'm gonna have to open 2 doors. He'll be gone in a second. There he goes. How was it? Joe for the cars. He didn't even look before crossing the road. That's very dangerous. You almost became crow chow. So I think he's eating the orange stuff. Why not? Pumpkin pie. Oh, the inside of the seeds. See that? Breaks open the seeds and eats the inside of the seed. And the orange stuff, is my guess. I didn't know what I was going to have for it and more, but I keep finding it. Just go out the door and you find weather and more and more and more. Is the chrysanthemums still looking good? And why do white chrysanthemums turn purple? This one's just about done. There's still some nice buds in there. The first pumpkin was right there. It was chowed last week and it's gone. That one's just about done. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 to go. Plenty more food. Squirrel chow. Suddenly, everybody's hungry. It's a feeding frenzy around the animal house. There's another football game on. Oh, that one just ended. Looks like Niners were up. Uh-oh. 4th. Final. Wow. Close game, huh? This team's match you. Mitt. Look, his hair is the same color as yours. Yeah, I know I can't use it because I get a copyright infringement, right? But if I talk really loud, YouTube police can't tell what I'm putting on. It's just 2 cats eating, like the squirrel out in the front. A little worm chow. Did I call it the hunter moon a few minutes ago? Can't keep them straight. It's the waxing beaver moon. It's full on Friday. And here comes the rain cloud. Bring it. Bring it. Yeah, it's happy hour, Steve. Let's have some CatMint. Here you go. Oh yeah. I'll get myself a beer. See if I can put the moon on top of the crow's head. Isn't that always 32 degrees tempest thermometer? Got some crickets. Got the planes landing. I don't see smoke tonight. Flag is intact. Clouds are gathering. Steve is next to the burning bush, posing for the conclusion of today's out the door weather and more. How about a time lapse?